Here we are with another Friday Night Live. Hope everybody's doing freaking amazing. Let's see if this thing's working. What's going on here? Let's see. Okay, I think everything is okay. How's everybody doing today? Wait a few minutes, get everybody on. Drink some tea. Nothing like some wonderful kidney tea. And some other amazing, beautiful herbs from the garden. Where are we here? Very interesting times that we're in, and very interesting times coming upon us in the near future. We've been putting through we've been put through quite a bit in the last year and a half because of the mob rules mentality. Other people believe they know what's best for us. And this is, the situation we end up in when our freedom and rights are obliterated and stepped on because somebody else knows better. Somebody else knows what's best for you. When you remove our unalienable rights, our unalienable divine God-given rights, what's left? There's no free will anymore. Once you remove that, then you've accepted slavery. And we see so many bow down and, without question, do everything they're told. Without question. Even though it's harming and killing people. So, how do we change these things? Well, if everything comes through the fields, that's where I'm going to put my money on. That's where I'm going to put my focus. All matters created through the fields. They know this, whoever you want to call them, and they use it to their advantage for mass mind control. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on spreading the plasma love always flowing. And just embrace the fasting lifestyle. In this realm, MFS, we make it very simple. Don't have to know how things work. Just embrace, follow the simple protocol, lifestyle, And away we go. We start having the experiences to give us the understanding of the wonders and beautiful things about divine creation. Hello, Christina. So, who's stepping up to the plate?
Me. Hi, Gina. How are you?
Good. Very good. You?
Yeah, good. I was looking forward. Oh, yes. Cheers.
It's been
Try. Huh?
a busy week.
Yeah.
Got caught up in things, and couldn't make it back for Wednesday's call.
I thought you were celebrating your birthday. This is why I could not make it.
No, I was busy just like any other day. It's just another day to me. We add a number to our age, and voila. No big deal. Um, Too many, emphasis on our age and stuff, but yeah, people want to celebrate. That's fine. Um, it's it's nice for children to have parties and stuff, but once you've gotten a few of those numbers, you it doesn't matter anymore.
So how young are you?
The number says 57.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, I never passed 20 in my mind, so
Yeah,
we keep going.
that happens. Well, I brought in some questions like always. So,
Awesome. You love doing your homework. That's awesome.
oh, I do. I was like, I bought an audiobook, Rational Fasting, and I go for a walk, do my breath holds, listen rational fasting. And then I just, try things here and there and I meditate on everything, process it, and then I write questions and I come for the Zoom call.
And we answer if we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, fire away.
Yeah, and I mean, whenever if somebody else have any questions and you want to take it in meanwhile, then that's fine. So, I was meditating on a grape juice, and I posted a bit of questions on a Facebook group. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello. Yes, I can hear.
Yeah, I'll try to
I'm losing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, about grape juice. So as I mentioned on a Facebook post that I was kind of feeling I just needed to take a break from food, and I fasted for 2 days, which I didn't have herbs, I need to confess. So I fasted without the herbs. And I had so much energy. It's unbelievable. I was like, is this sugar in a grape juice?
You're thinking about in which most people focus on in the matter state of things, right?
Mm.
And that's something that is very difficult for all of us to let go of, because that's all that we've been taught to focus on is matter. You go back to your Buteyko teaching. What does Buteyko say? Where does your energy come from?
The breath, the prana.
Specifically, specifically,
For him was CO2. He considered
exactly.
carbon dioxide to be prana, to be life force.
Okay, so CO2 in plasma science, our understanding is that without CO2, there is absolutely no energy exchange, because throughout all the universes, nothing is created or destroyed, only transformed. There has to be an exchange, something given and something is received. There's never ever something on its own. It's always an exchange. So with CO2, specifically on this realm, on this material planet Earth, CO2 is absolutely necessary for energy exchange, for the physicality of our body, and the plants also use it as well, right? We breathe out, they take in, and they give us oxygen. So there's always that exchange happening in everything we do. So that's what we're talking about, was living on the fields. Even though CO2 has matter attached to it, it also has a very strong plasmatic signature. And our body, where does it get CO2 from?
I don't know.
We breathe in air, which has also oxygen, but it has many other things in it. And we manufacture CO2. The physical body manufactures it. And then we exhale the excess, right?
Yeah, and for Dr. Buteyko was like the key was to preserve the CO2. The more CO2 we have in our cells, the better in the metabolic rate of the cell, the healthier we are, the control pause is higher, the more life force we have. But in order to have that, we need to have good metabolics of the cell, healthy cells, strong and healthy cells.
Yeah. So like if we don't have CO2, there cannot be any energy exchange in the physical body. And
No.
that's why it's vital for us to preserve and continue to manufacture CO2. And the less we breathe, what happens? The CO2 goes up, right? In the physical body. The body's able to hold on to more CO2, so there can be more energy exchange, and that's why your vitality goes up. So even in breathing, less is more. The less we do, the more is available. More energy, more vitality, more and more and more and more. So when you stop putting food, when we stop putting food in our physical body, the energy naturally goes up. In cases where people are very, very obstructed, they may feel being drained when they start fasting, especially in the beginning stages, because the body is so obstructed and it needs huge amounts of energy to move out the obstructions. And that's why people feel weaker when they start fasting, and they blame lack of food, which has nothing to do with reality or facts of how this physical body works. The physical body is, we'll repeat the sentence again, the body, only the body can feed, hydrate, purge, build, balance, and heal itself through soul from source. It doesn't need anything in the material realm. It can and it does manufacture everything it needs. But when we start relying on physical things like eating, then the body has to work with whatever we put into it, and has to have exchanges with that physical material thing, the food that we eat. And in doing that, there is lots of energy being used when we eat food. Hello, Jackie, trees who get it from the sun. Yes. Paula, thank you for teaching. So we're eating food. Body has to use tremendous amount of energy. And then there's a payout that we have, which are called obstructions, are left behind through physical eating. Doesn't matter what kind of food, just different levels of obstructions. And of course, we know fruit being the least obstructive on the scale of foods for the human body. And then everything else starts getting more and more obstructed from there. So when we eat physical foods, the body has to use energy to process that, convert it into a form where we can interchange and absorb energy from that food. We don't absorb energy from the food in its physical form like we were taught through a digestion process. The body processes it and changes it into a GAN state, gas as nanosolid. And with that, there's a high plasmatic field coming off of it. And that's where we get our energy, through the fields, through the GI tract, which we love to call the plasma vacuum tube. So there's an energy exchange, fields with fields. But then, of course, we have the payback to get rid of that matter, which turns into fecal waste, and we expel it. And that is a whole lot of energy in doing that. And if people believe that you get energy from food, then if you eat 24 hours a day without stopping, you should have more energy, right? If that was true, wouldn't that be the case?
Yeah, this is what my partner still believes. I was like, I get energy from food. I was like, no, you're not. Okay, I don't want to discuss with you anymore.
Well, then tell people, eat 24 hours a day. Let me see how much energy you have. And, most people completely collapse. And then they'll start making in all kinds of theories and stuff from the mainstream science and stuff.
And also, if they stop eating, they will collapse. So
yeah, because we explained that your body is full of obstructions, and it needs a lot of energy to move that out, and the body doesn't have the vitality because of all the obstructions to move out those obstructions, so you can get your energy through basically the CO2 energy exchange. And it's very, very challenging for people to have this understanding until they start experiencing. And how do you experience it? Living a fasting lifestyle, fasting and breaking your fast over and over again, and start gaining the understanding of what's going on. It took me a long time, to have that understanding of Arnold Ehret's simple formula: V equals P, take away O, vitality equals power, take away obstruction. Because that sums it up very beautifully and easily with 3 letters, right? When the body is obstructed, it has to use way more power and the vitality goes down. When the body is de-obstructed, doesn't have to use the power because there's no obstructions in the way, vitality goes up. That's the basic concept of our new understanding of how the body really works. So how do we get to that state where we can get more energy? Well, we have to choose to live a fasting lifestyle and hopefully choose peace, balance, and correct conduct above all things and how we live, so we can move in the direction of the light, God, source, all knowledge. Because every time, if you look in history or what's happening now, anytime people choose to go the other way and do evil deeds or whatever you want to call it, there's always mistakes. The master of deception, as we want to call that force of energy, believes it's so intelligent but it's in that it has arrogance, and it always makes mistakes, always. And we've seen that in this past year and a half more than ever of what's been going on. So let's, you know, try and focus on living and loving it instead of all the intricacies of who, what, where, when, why, how, because none of that stuff has helped me in the past. It's got me to where I am now through a long road of many different experiences and almost killing myself. But, you know, and I see that many people want to figure it out for themselves. By all means, you got free will to do that, but there's a shortcut in which we put together called MasterFast, you know, system, and people can choose to go that route and have a much easier way than having to go through, you know, many challenges like I had, and maybe killing yourself. You know, so does the juice give you energy? That's the question you've asked.
Yeah, I really appreciate, what you are sharing, and it's so deep and so profound. I think I'll have to rewatch it. But and part of me understands what you are saying, but also part of me is still like such a beginner and a newbie, and it still really asks on this material level, does the juice give you energy? Does the sugar give you energy? And trust me, I was lying in my bed, I was meditating, and I was like, okay, so what happens when I ingest? Okay, I'm connecting with my cells, and I'm like, do you use that energy? And then when I watched the Dr. Morse video about the fruit, and I was like, okay, so that makes sense. There's ATP, we get energy. So then
You're focusing on physicality. Yes.
I know, but part of me really needs to understand how this whole thing works, because I know that there is what you explained, there's this greater interaction of fields. But how come okay, it's always this water fast that I did, it's like when
Because you stop putting food in your mouth.
Yeah, but I mean, I always say when I water fasted, so when you just kind of leave something big behind, it's like, oh. So when I water fasted, I remember I could not get up from bed. I was like puking and I was tired, and I did this 2-day fast with the juice, and I had so much energy, I could just run a marathon. And I was like,
yeah. So,
and how come?
It's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible almost to compare water fasting to master fast. It's very different. Even master fast to a raw juice fast, which I have done before master fast. I've done 100-day raw juice fast. It's almost impossible to compare, the cleansing of both, yeah.
One sec, Jackie,
So-
life in the fast lane. I love you guys. Barbara, your video looks so cool, like you were teleporting in a firework. It's a whole new program to install into your software. Yeah, exactly. That's what you just said right there. It's the fields. Jackie, 3D limited program or 5D limitless program. There's 5D, 6D, 7D. It's limitless. There's no amount of. These are all matter-based focuses that we've been taught in a lot of the new age movements and stuff like that. The limitless realms are just that, and we can't even conceptualize them in this material sense with our intellect. But the reason a lot of people with water fasting have big challenges, and if somebody's on a cleaner diet for many years, they can water fast and have more energy, just like somebody who's been cleaned out master fasting. but that takes years of dedication and stuff. Water, as I said, for us, um, it's very hard on the system, much harder than drinking juice, because juice has the cooked juices have the uh, power of moving out obstructions, helping to move out helping loosening up and moving out obstructions. Um, Whereas water, it's not that great of a solvent on its own for the physical body, especially of obstructions of things that are not found in nature, that we've plugged ourselves up over the decades. So we need something that's with a higher field strength, a higher force, higher, power, cleaning power. And the juice is that does that. It does it very well. So why your energy goes up is because it starts helping moving things out. But what we found, especially with a lot of new people fasting, is it starts moving out and loosening up so many things when you're in a fast, that the body becomes overwhelmed, and it starts, we the term we use is, it starts we start drowning in our own filth, because it cannot move out all those obstructions fast enough. And that's where the beautiful, wonderful, highly elevated souls come in, because they help keep the energy channels open so things can continuously move and there's no stagnation, so we don't have that hardness of drowning our own filth. Um, Jackie, 4D is time space awareness. So once you get there, you're away laughing on a fast camel, deliberately creating your reality. Get there is the wrong term, as we have access to all dimensions at all times. It's our free will allows us to go where we want. Yes, exactly. There's no destination in this continual journey that we enjoy and we love, and we continuously learning. So the juice, if we're focusing on the physicality, it's got sugar, and sugar is carbon based, and we are carbon based beings. So where do we get our energy? We get our energy from carbon, right? Basically. And that's why the CO2 and how we've explained energy, energy cannot be exchanged without it. We must have CO2 in this physical realm. We will all be dead without it. And what are they going after? Climate change, CO2 is too high. All bullcrap. To me, it's my understanding, it's all bullcrap. It's all the reverse. The Luciferic satanic agenda is make everything opposite of the truth. That's how that energy functions. And you can start seeing it clearer and clearer the more you fast. The answers will show up in plain sight beautifully. So, the field strength of that juice is very, very high, but not in the physical. You can't measure it physically. It's on the spiritual side of that juice, because we brought it to higher order through cooking. If you
so yeah, how does it really work when you say it's a powerful wash or powerful cleanser?
How does it work?
I mean, how does it work? Or
we don't know.
Yeah, like what like how does it get into the higher order? Like when we cook it, like
Yeah,
how does it?
It's
I know you've been asked this million of times, I think, so I'm just asking.
Because it opens up the atomic structure, so it can release its energy and return to where it came from. And that's why we're dealing with the spirit side of the juice. We're not dealing with the physicality. The physicality, yeah, it does its thing physically as well. But if we go back to our discussion, where does everything come from? Does it come from matter, or does matter all come from the fields? And the answer is very clear. It all comes from the fields, including ourselves. Nothing is made from matter. What we play around in the matter state is just that. But all creation comes through the fields, all of it. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? The plasma, the fields. You can't create from matter. You have to in matter, what we're doing is we're just having exchanges with things, and we believe we're creating, but nothing is actually created from matter. It's all coming from the fields through the intent and emotion. And that's where the beauty lies and the secret. How exactly does the juice go in and do what it has to do? I don't know, and I don't care. It doesn't really matter. What we're focusing on is the results. And if I don't know if you've watched any older videos of my first juice fast, I did a juice fast the first time with cooked Concord grape juice. That was my first long 40-day fast. And
Yeah.
what came out of that was a big learning lesson. But I didn't know what was happening at that time. And I ended up in bed for 2 years, almost bedridden, right? Because I drowned in my own filth.
Mm.
I was just drinking Concord juice, nothing else, right? The body drowned.
And you didn't do it as a lifestyle either.
No, I was doing enemas, but nothing else. I wasn't taking anything else. No herbs, no plasma pudding, none of that stuff.
And the
This-
lifestyle also, like it was not exactly a lifestyle, it was just an event, right?
Yeah. So, but that's when my fasting journey started. I never stopped after that. But it was a hard lesson to learn. The understanding of what happened with that cooked juice, because as the years went by, and then I went into raw foodism, very strict, and raw was law. Don't mention cook to me.
10 years. 10 years ago.
I voodoo you. Raw was law for those 10 years almost. So the spark of light didn't come through of what happened in 1990 with my 40-day juice fast until I started becoming a knowledge seeker in the plasma sciences and learning about the atomic structure opening up and through the heating cycle and so on. And then the light just shone on, and I said, my goodness gracious, the answer was always there, and I frickin' missed it. And I went through all those years of pain and suffering. And then the water thing also came to me. They're all wrong. Well, they're not wrong, sorry.
The dry fast.
We don't need water. I'm not going to say wrong or right, because everybody needs to go through certain experiences. And we got to let water go too. And it all started coming in. All this information started pouring in. And the more fasting I was doing, the more everything started coming together, and Master Fast System was born. And I was already started dry fasting, and then that's when I jumped in to do the 108 days, and the rest is history. Of I had no doubt of what was going to happen with people. I had absolutely no doubt.
And you did it for yourself
Yeah.
initially, but with a friend of yours, and I think your friend wanted you to share it with the world, right? And he helped you put a website.
So the cooked grape juice, or the cooked pomegranate juice, or the cooked watermelon juice, or the cooked berry juice, and who knows, there's probably other juices, but those are the ones that people have tried and they all work, all the dark juices. If you use the light juices, they don't have the cleaning power. If you look into plasma sciences, the dark colors, especially the nano coating, which is very black, contains within itself huge amounts of energy. Not the light colors,
Powerful.
the dark colors. So putting all that little bit of information and my understanding is how Master Fast came to be, and the understanding of why the cooked juice actually does a better job than any raw juice. The raw juices really don't make any sense, because when you start juicing something, it immediately starts breaking down through oxidation process and so on and so forth. And it wants to go back to where it came from. That's how nature works in this realm. So when we put it in us, we start having to deal with all that stuff. That doesn't happen when you're drinking cooked juice because it's just a pure solvent and pure field strength. You don't have to worry about, all the other stuff from my understanding. The raw juices, they taste great, and it's nothing wrong if you drink them occasionally here and there. But if you're going to have fruit, I suggest we use our teeth and eat it instead of just juicing and drinking raw juices. If you're going to drink, if you want to live a fasting lifestyle, we suggest that, use the cooked juices. And if you don't want something as powerful cleanser, you want to back off, you can go to the lighter juices like, pineapple or white grape or whatever, some of the citruses and stuff. Or you can go to even way less power is the green juices to really slow you down. That's why we say, people having healing reactions, you can do that. You can go to the lighter juices or the green juices, and it's the green juices.
You can imagine eating fruits for, lighter food, right? As we want to clean
That's
up.
what I've been consuming.
Yeah, so it's like eating fruits versus eating a salad. Of course, the fruit is much easier on your body. And so same thing with the fruit juice versus the green juice,
Yeah,
the
one
fruit
sec,
juice is easier.
Jackie, it's molecular structure is the key to unlock our biochemical reactions that promote movement back to our original blueprint. Prevention is better than cure, but intention is the cure. Exactly, intent and emotion. That's creation itself. Thank you for those years, man. The whole world benefited from them being big love. Awesome, Jackie. Yeah, so this is our understanding of what's been developed through master fasting, and the results spoke loudly of everybody who's been master fasting in all these years. So we are on track to a direction of correctness. But we don't have all the answers, but man, oh man, what we've seen with master fasting is like nothing I've encountered in all these years in natural healing, all walks of life. And I've been through a lot of different things,
Yeah, the body,
minerals and this and that and the other thing.
It's master fast is all about releasing obstructions.
All our focus is on removing obstructions.
And every part of the protocol is really super helpful and important in helping us release, and they work beautifully together.
I personally don't believe in any nutrition anymore, as we've been taught. I believe it's all bull crap. And all the calorie theories and all this stuff, that the essential minerals and all that stuff, to me, it's all bull crap. All of it.
So yeah,
because it's all matter-based focus.
Christina, if I don't know if you have read the frequently asked questions page.
I did.
Yeah,
I did, and I keep rereading protocol. And when Gino posted, I went on and read it again, and I was like, okay, I understand it a bit deeper.
Yeah.
So it always goes a bit deeper and deeper.
Yep.
It's lots of information to absorb, and it's okay. And it's okay if you don't get it the first time, as long as if you're confused, go back and read. Be open to go back and read. It's okay if you some things are not very clear. Once you get started, it will make sense to you. The more you do it, the more it will make sense to you. It's really very simple. And many of us have done long fasts and long master fasts, and of course, when you do it longer, you will prove it to yourself even more. You will become a believer even faster. But we recommend, of course, a lifestyle. Whatever you do, just do it as a lifestyle, because doing long fast and then
it's so powerful that it changes every aspect of your psyche, your personality, your belief system. And it's just too much of a shock for most people. And that's why we say, focus on the lifestyle, focus on the lifestyle, focus on the lifestyle.
Yeah, even the long fast, if you want to do a long fast, make sure it's a lifestyle,
yeah.
Which means pretty much liquidarian. You know, like if you want to do a long master fast, then you know, I would say choose a liquidarian lifestyle at that point, because it's very hard to go back to eating after a long fast.
Let me
especially
go
master
back a bit. All our focus should be on peace, balance, correct conduct first and foremost. And then all our focus would be on living a fasting spiritual lifestyle, which moves in that direction. And then in the physical, mental, and emotional, we want to focus on removing all obstructions continuously, because we're always accumulating through emotions as well. When we have a long lineage of our ancestral emotions, which are a lot of obstructions in that we see come up in many people, probably all of us. So there's a lot to deal with, a lot of obstructions and belief systems that we need to purge. And if we choose not to live a fasting lifestyle, those answers will never be available to you. The answers to the questions will never be available to you. Once you start going through the experiences, the answers will be revealed to you one by one by one. And you're going to say to yourself, like I said, my goodness, it was right there. I couldn't see it. It was always there. Just like the water. So much focus on finding the best quality water, the spring waters, the filters, and this and vortex, and trying to, you know, mimic nature. And I missed the boat. You don't need it. Your body hydrates. You don't drink to hydrate. Your body feeds. You don't eat to feed.
Well, we still, you know, look for the best quality water.
Yeah.
For teas and enemas.
Yeah, because we're still consuming things. So, you know, all our focus is on how do we efficiently, safely, prudently move out obstructions. The answer is living a master fast lifestyle. We have not seen anything come close to the power of master fasting. And just move in that direction. Everybody, not everybody, but we see so many are entrapped, and I'll put my hand up as well, and we're entrapped in the matter state thinking. Very, very challenging to catch yourself and say, wait a minute, I have to let that go and I have to focus on the fields. I do that all the time. You know, because it's ingrained, programmed within us, all that matter state teaching that we went through, right? So we have to be in the forefront of our consciousness to always want to focus on the fields. So for the juice, I would, you know, change the questions to so how can this juice, how can the juice fields help us move out obstructions? You know, why does the field strength of the juice help us go back to balance, and so on and so forth? You can, you know, ask different questions, because focusing on the sugar and it's dead and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't get us anywhere, and it's not going to help us. Because as I said earlier, I was raw as law. I wouldn't look at anything cooked, even though I had gone through a cooked juice fast experience, which was a very powerful cleanse, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I didn't understand what was going on, and that's why I ended up being bedridden.
What is your understanding, you know, for like what kind of field the grape juice or cooked juice holds, if you do have one? Because I am getting it. I'm like feeling it, how it's sinking in me.
Has the field strength of creation.
because grape juice is mentioned in the Bible. There's always been, say, like I've been meditating a lot on this. I'm really trying to connect to the grape juice and to
It's a
the,
plant. It's a plant, right? All the plants
yeah.
are very highly elevated, and they're only here to help us. If you look outside where there's any plants and trees, they're teaching you. Just look at them. They will teach you. They're standing there. They're not consuming anything like this, right? And they're thriving.
Sunlight.
They're teaching us. Yeah, sunlight exchanged with the fields in the air, roots in the ground. People think everything is done through the ground. No.
The rain. Once in a while, otherwise.
They're they're showing us so much. And like the whole herbology knowledge did not come from experience. Was it the Chinese natural medicine? I think it was the Ming Dynasty. They did experiments on prisoners with plants for, I don't know how long it went on, for a long time. That's how that Chinese natural medicine came to be. But traditional herbology did not come that way. It came through people communicating with the spirit of the plants.
I'm familiar with this work.
The plants shared their knowledge of how they can help, in what areas they can help the physical, spirit, and so on, and the emotion.
It's like what,
yeah, that's where the real knowledge came from. It doesn't come from experience. So where do we want to put our focus on? Do we want to put our focus on the physical aspects, like the Chinese Ming dynasty? I think it was Ming. Or do we want to put our focus on the spirit? Look at where the Chinese have gotten to now. Communism, what is that? You can't believe in any supreme being. You need to worship the dictator.
It kind of reminds me of when I went to Peru and worked with ayahuasca and a plant dieta, and you get different plants to work with, like they brew the plants in addition to ayahuasca. And how the shamans do, they diet, so they barely eat anything. They don't eat at all, and they drink those potions, and then the plant starts giving them healing songs, Icaros. And then when you are in ceremony, they come to you and they sing the song of the plant, but really you can see how like it sings the energy of a big tree or a low plant, but it's transmuted through voice and through the song. So it's really kind of correlates with what you just said. And I also remember it kind of just popped in my mind long time ago. I went to a healing retreat and there was a spiritual teacher, and he said, well, look at the nature. And at the time I didn't understand, but it stuck to me that he said, look at the nature. The plants are not running around looking for water, for grains, for beans, for meat to put it in their storage. They are there just blooming and knowing that what they need, it will be provided for them at the right time. And it keeps coming back to me more and more, this. And when you said that, it just again came back to me.
Yeah, and they do wonderfully until what? Humans get involved and destroy their environments. Right? Because they can't just get up and move. Actually, there is a tree, I think, that walks. It moves. Changes its position. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we love to discuss and so on and so forth, because focusing on the matter state, the physicality, it gets us nowhere fast.
So in terms of energy, it's very simple. It's all you know the way we see it after doing master fasting for me 6 years now. Um, Basically, the less obstructed you are, the more energy you'll have. It's that simple. You will see it over and over and over and over as you live the lifestyle. Long fast or short fast, you will see it. Actually, when you do the short fast and eat, let's say, a few days a week, or, for me, I've done 2 days a week for a long time. I did also 1 day a week for a while.
Like you eat one day or you fast one day?
1 day or 2 days, yeah. And that is like, honestly, it is hard to get into eating 1 day a week or 2 days a week. It's really hard to start because it's hard to break your fast and get back into the fast over and over and over. It's much harder after a long fast to break and then get back on the fast. Pretty much, yeah, when you break a long fast, you want to eat the next day. It's really hard. Or even maybe 2 days after, maybe not immediately the second day, because you're not very obstructed from the first day. But when you eat 2 days in a row, you start getting obstructed. Of course, it's best to eat. Of course, when you eat lighter food, you are much less obstructed and much less addicted to food again. So obstructions make you addicted to food, right? The obstructions are what give us cravings. We get the cravings because we're obstructed.
As soon as you eat, cravings start.
Yeah, and if you eat more obstructive, you're gonna be more you're gonna crave more. Fruits are much easier and much less addictive.
This is what was happening when I was fasting for those 2 days. I was like, oh my God, I feel so great. I don't want to eat anymore. I just can't wait for my herbs so I can really fully experience. And when I,
problem.
um,
And that's the problem.
yeah, and what I was feeling deeply inside, I was like, either I'm getting this energy from the sugar, but then another side of me was like, I was realizing this on a deep level that, on water fast, I was just almost like dying because my body was trying to release the obstructions from its own energy. And if I focus on the matter side here, right, Gino, then I take that energy from the grape juice and my body has an ability to deal with those obstructions.
Yeah, so with the master fast, it's a very beautiful balance. This is why I love it more than any other fasting. It's a very beautifully balanced fast. Basically, we say anyone can get into master fast regardless of your background. You can come from any background and you can jump right into a master fast. Why? Because it is designed to help you de-obstruct and not drown in your own filth, regardless of how obstructed the body is. It will balance things out so that you don't feel super sick and you don't feel very, low in energy, like super sick, like detoxing deeply, or low in energy, right? Because you're not consuming because you're fasting.
But you're still fasting, right? You are.
When you, like, let's say you get into a dry fast, coming from a standard lifestyle, right? You're going to feel tired, of course, very tired, because dry fasting is the deepest, but at the same time, it doesn't help you flush, right? So you're going to be very obstructed. So it's much harder to jump into a dry fast. And you're going to have less energy. And same thing I would say with water, you're not going to have the energy. Water fasting, and also, water fasting is not really designed to help you release obstructions so much. You know, it's just it's the fast. It's a fast, but it's not really. It doesn't. You know, the grape juice, the cooked grape juice helps you release. The plasma pudding helps you release. Not only release, but also neutralize with the plasma pudding, neutralize toxins and stuff like that, so you don't feel sick when you're detoxing. Um, the herbs are amazing because they help us. They're medicinal. They open the, you know, the blockages in the body. Everywhere, like we take for the kidneys, for the bowels,
Emotions.
the lymph, the glands. Yeah. Spiritual, physical, emotional, everything. And the dry fasting takes us a step deeper. We don't do too much at the beginning. We just follow the protocol because it's very deep and we don't want to drown in our own filth. Even if you feel comfortable with them, you can feel comfortable with them and you overdo them. And then before you know it, you feel extremely tired. You know, like maybe after a month of overdoing the dry fasting.
How does it look like, the overdoing?
The protocol is what we recommend for new people, like 24 hours a week, 12 hours a day, 24 hours a week, and 72 hours a month.
Why people overdo it is because the dry fast feels so good, and then they start pushing themselves in the dry, and before you know it, they're drowning in their own filth, and they get themselves in trouble. We've had one too many do that.
They become bedridden, especially people who have done long master fast, because it's deep. You know, they're going deeper into releasing.
Body, all because in the fasting state, things can and will happen very quickly. Meaning, already in the juice, when you're drinking the juice, things happen quickly. But when you're in a dry fasting state, things happen even quicker. Meaning, you can feel amazing 1 minute, the next minute you can feel like you're dying, and then the next minute you can feel like you're amazing again. This is how things can and do happen when you're in fasting state.
Especially the dry, it will push much faster.
Because of obstructions being jolted out of their hibernation areas and moving around in different parts of the body. And that's where the feelings come from. Not because of lack of nutrition and all that freaking nonsense. It's because of always the obstruction. So what's the number one thing we say when you feel going through a healing reaction in a fasting state? Enemas. If you're in a dry fasting state, you know, enemas and breath work. If you're in a dry fasting state, you're doing the breath work, you're doing movement, and maybe you're going to break your dry fast, right? And then wash out later. But I don't know how many stories we've heard. People felt like they were dying, go give themselves an enema. They felt like they're on top of the world because the body has challenges moving out things. So we just are assisting. And the reason now, you know, modern man needs assistance more than ever is because we've been living freaking life so far away from nature. We're obstructed with things the body can't recognize. And it's you know, plugged up beyond oblivion. Humanity is plugged up more now than probably in the whole history of humanity, as far as we know. It's, especially the last 50 years, what's been happening on this planet is horrific.
Yeah, I mean, look at our food. It's that simple. Just go to the grocery stores today versus 20 years ago, or you know, 40 years ago or 50 years ago. Yeah, huge difference. It just tells you how it just tells you, I mean, it's a reflection of our health. You know, just go to the grocery store and look at the stuff.
Environments.
Where's the fruits and vegetables? It's a small section now. You know, in the past, I guess when grocery stores started, it was fruits and vegetables, right?
It was food stands, farmers exchanging stuff.
I actually have a little question on when you mentioned clean eating. So do you mean everything needs to be organic? Because sometimes when I go to grocery store and I see this organic section and the vegetables are like so sad there, like wilted, and the section is that big. So I try to buy local as much as I can.
I go for local.
Clean, minimal eating does not mean, in my understanding, organic. We believe that everything should be grown organic. That's the way it's been since the beginning of time until
Of
humans
course.
started making chemicals. But we do the best we can in the situation we're in. What we mean by clean, minimal eating is the least obstructive
Mm.
foods. I don't have the word organic anywhere.
Okay, so the lead like fruits and greens and sprouts.
Yeah, if you can buy organic, then buy organic. But I can say in Canada, there's many studies that have shown I think it was like 50% of the organic food is not organic.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
what
but
are
it's
you
still
paying
better
for?
than conventional.
If it's grown organically, truly, yes. Yes, if it's grown without chemicals, that would be better. But I don't worry about it. We just buy and we just ozonate
You
everything.
know, when I did raw food, that's when I really stopped buying organic. Because it's impossible to do, especially fruits. Vegetables are easier to find organic, but with fruits, it was hard to find.
Yeah, very. And they're like so they look dead almost on the.
I would go for local first.
Mhm.
Gone, and then local, and then
Yeah.
I would
Wild,
go
if you can get
under-
wild.
Yeah.
There are blackberries growing a lot here. But I go to grocery and kind of sense a bit intuitively, like what is it that like looks good? What is
Yeah,
it that
what
is
draws you?
really, exactly, like what looks like healthy and I take it. Oh, does it feel chemical or does it no?
Yeah, I mean, you should see Gino grocery shopping. I mean, you'll be happy to live with Gino because he's a very, like he knows how to choose fruits. Um, Basically, yeah, ripe, because some fruits they're not gonna ripen properly if they're not ripe right there in the grocery store. Like they have to be picked ripe almost, because most of them are not ripe when they're picked. They're very hard and they're not gonna ripen properly.
I've had many cases of conventional foods tasting way better than the organic food and were way more money. So,
Mhm.
if it tastes better, not all conventional farmers are,
Spray.
spraying the hell out of everything. I've met conventional farmers that grew
They don't
way
spray,
better than
but
organic.
they're not
Yes.
certified.
Yeah,
But
so
I get a lot here in BC now, like there's blueberry farm and plums and peaches, and I feel they are really
yeah, go for
they,
the
they
local.
yeah, and I buy these and they don't say we don't buy organic certification because it's cost a lot of money, but we don't use anything or minimal.
Some
So-
people buy, but it doesn't matter.
Mm.
Ozonate everything. Get yourself an ozone generator and ozonate everything.
Yeah. How do you do that? I actually was looking to buy one. So you put the produce in the sink and you just ozonate for like.
Fill it cold water, the colder the better, and run it for half an hour.
And I put all the produce there inside that water while it's ozonating.
Bananas are one thing you don't want to ozonate. They go weird. There's a few things that okra, if you ozonate it, it goes back quicker. So the things that that you don't want to ozonate and put them in the fridge. You ozonate them when you're going to use them, instead of just. But usually, most of the stuff we buy is ozonated and then it's put in the fridge.
Oh, and that's it. You stock up the fridge and you keep it like this.
We don't have no stock up of anything except juice.
Yeah, I know.
We just buy what we need to eat, and for that day
Yeah,
or
we
whatever.
buy a few days before.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
see.
yeah, but I honestly, Christina is I don't put any focus on organic at all.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, but this is what I thought that you're gonna say.
Yeah.
And
Do we
I
wanna be
will
ingesting-
definitely.
Do we normally want to be ingesting chemicals? No, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
finding solutions.
for me, the best fruits would be are the local ones. I focus on local. I'm not interested in buying anything imported. because even local, it's far away from me. It's not in my backyard. And of course, local meaning seasonal, right? Like seasonal from your area, not seasonal from somewhere else. Um, and I also, you'll have to feel like if you're buying now peaches or I don't know, whatever grows right now. We have watermelons as well. The peaches, feel them, right? If they're very hard, then they're not going to be ripened properly, and smell them too. That's
Grapes will
another
be
thing.
coming soon.
The smell is,
Yeah.
you can smell them. If they smell great, then it will probably taste great. Same thing with the
Yeah.
cantaloupe. If it smells good, then it's gonna be good.
There's a feel energy that you can sense. There's the visual colors, the sharper the colors. There's the smell and the feel, and there's many ways to
And
get a sense for
and
what's
even-
good.
and you know what? I don't mind eating the same fruit over and over and over if it tastes good. So now I think I would say my focus is watermelon and peaches when it comes to fruits, because that's what's growing right now. And it tastes amazing. And if it doesn't taste good, I don't buy it again. I just buy it one time, and if it doesn't taste good, I don't buy it. If it tastes great, I'll buy it again and again and again, because it just tastes amazing. And you don't get bored, especially when you're fasting. When you're fasting regularly, even intermittent fasting, when you're eating days, you look forward to anything that tastes good.
Yeah, this is like for me it's so strange. Like the neighbors have fig trees and they're selling figs, and I bought these figs and I open and they're like just like, oh my god. And the blackberries here, something is like infestation of blackberries everywhere. So I just go on my morning walk, do breath work, and pick blackberries for later. Blackberries,
Oh, amazing.
but everywhere they are here, like
BC.
I don't know, it's like crazy. Every single corner, on the highways, on the path walks, everywhere, blackberries. Like you can just live on blackberries. So, and those figs, I was like, I lived in Montreal. I've never ate the fresh fig, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. And we even bought a tree ourselves, so to grow.
I didn't know figs grow up in BC.
Oh yeah. Oh, hold on, guys. I'll show you.
Yeah, then because they're very delicate trees.
So I put the whole thing here. Like,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, but like there's a fig tree. If it gets any freezing, it's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, they said there's a couple of days. This is why I bought a couple of bags. I was like, oh, I need to experience that. So come guys, visit. And we'll all get some figs and enjoy together.
In Italy, eating it, just eating the figs off of trees. There's nothing like it when you buy them.
So the guy I bought it from, he's Italian. His father brought the fig from, I think, Italy, and then they planted and it grew in 20 years. And so,
do they keep it in a greenhouse in the winter?
No, it doesn't get here that cold actually. So
Really?
the Victoria is the warmest place in whole Canada, by the way.
So there's no snow?
There is, but one day or two, maybe something like that.
Wow.
And mostly rains, but I cannot tell for experience because it's going to be my first winter here. So I'll keep you updated, guys. Okay. Yeah, but I bought some herbs and I planted already. So to have like something my own. Yeah, I still have some questions, but I mean, I don't know if you have time, and I'm so eager to learn and
Keep going. That's why we're here.
Yeah, does the energy part make sense to you now?
Yes, I feel what Gino and you expressed. I will meditate on it. It really kind of brought back to me the understanding that it's about fields. It's not about matter. And I was really focusing, is it the sugar? What does it give me energy? Because I was expecting that I'll be sick and releasing, and I was like full of energy. And
Yeah, but
If it,
you will go through those cycles when you go
if
longer
it,
fast.
if it makes it easier for you, think about it about, like think about it as like obstructions versus a release of obstructions, when you are obstructed, you're going to have less energy. When you're less obstructed, you're going to have more energy. It's that simple.
Mhm.
And things flow better when you have less obstructions,
We said earlier,
and when things flow better, the energy is flowing freely. The energy is, like the energy is there always. The body has power, but the power will be taken and spent on de-obstructing if you are obstructed.
So it's not a juice. It's just my body had energy, right?
Nothing, the juice is only the juice is only helping you de-obstruct, okay? And it slows down the detoxification compared to dry fasting, for example, right? You're like in the master fast, there's dry, we do the liquids, and the liquid part is there to help you flush and release. It's not about and that would slow down the detox a little bit if you compare to dry fasting. So
like I said earlier, if food gave us energy, we should be eating 24 hours a day to get more energy. Doesn't work that way. Look at what happens in celebration times when people are eating. Do people have more energy? Everybody goes to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel myself when I eat, like food slows me down so much, and I can clearly see. And I was like, this is why all humanity just drinks coffee all day long, because
Stimulant, that's a different story. But
yeah,
let's look at somebody who's starting fasting, okay? And they start fasting and they get weaker. They eat, they break the fast, and they have more energy. And then they believe
yeah.
it's the food that gave them the energy. It's absolutely not the food. What happens as soon as you eat something? It stops the fast. It stops the elimination mode. When we're in a fasting state, we are in an elimination mode.
And you get more energy.
As soon as you eat, it stops that. And people interpret that as the food giving them energy. No, you just stop the elimination mode.
At some point when you
it's explained in Arnold Ehret's book.
Yeah, when you live the master fast lifestyle, at some point you will see also when you're dry fasting and then you break your dry and then you feel more tired. You're like, let's say you're tired a little bit when you're dry fasting because you're going deeper, and then you start drinking and you get more tired. Why? Because you are kind of obstructing the body.
Yeah.
Because the dry is the ultimate of course, right?
Your dry is 100% fields. When you're drinking the juice, we're using some matter, physical stuff. You can't compare the two states, just like you can't compare master fasting in general with eating state. And that's where people get themselves in trouble, trying to get into that wonderful state when they're in a master fasting, and they're trying to do that while eating. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what diet, you're not going to get into that state. So the dry, that's why I was saying earlier, people start pushing their dry fast because they feel so much better in their dry fasting states after a while once you start clearing the GI tract, and they push it and they push it, and they're not using prudence or anything that we've suggested, and they're doing things on their own, and then they drown in their own filth and get in trouble.
But the easiest food if you want to eat, it's gonna be fruits.
A
fruitarian diet. That would be a wonderful diet, but yeah, that would be nice. But I would say most of us are, it's hard for us to just be fruitarians, once we eat, we want to eat other stuff like salads and stuff. I don't know, it's kind of tricky.
But I think it's in a way like if you continue detoxing and fasting and eating fruits, like when I think about it, like when people eat meat and grains and beans and, whatever every day, 7 days a week, 5 times a day, it's still, I think, when you live fasting lifestyle and you may eat something, a fruit with pesticides, or you may eat some wrong meal here and there, it's still not going to be as bad as you would eat like 7 days.
Yeah, but
Okay.
let me tell you, you're gonna be way more sensitive than these people. So you can't compare yourself to them, because you're gonna be,
Oh, why?
you're gonna feel it more than they feel it. You're gonna be more tired than them eating that food, because your body's not used to it anymore.
You don't have the protection, the mucus protection, the mucus layer protected in the GI tract when you're doing a lot of fasting. That gets built up through eating. Once we're born, we're feeding off our mother's milk. We already have, being born, we already have a mucus protection in our GI tract from our mother's diet, right? And then we're feeding on the milk, and then we start our mothers start giving us food solids, and slowly and surely we build up that mucus layer protection, because every time we put something in our physical body through eating, the body has to build up protection. So what happens when you do a long fast, especially, you purge out all that stuff. That's where all that plaque starts coming out, right? And then you have a beautiful, shiny, GI tract with all that wonderful flora, and it's in a raw, beautiful state. And then we put a heavy obstructed food in there, and the body's going, what the hell do I do with this?
And you might, you might also remember, you may miss going back to eating the old things that you used to eat, because your memory is still there, temptation to experiment, especially after a long fast. Because after a long fast, you're not going to feel good eating. You're not going to feel great eating, as great as when you're not eating. So you're going to feel very, what did I want to say? Yeah. After a long fast, it's very hard to feel great. And you might, eating, and you might want to experiment with other foods that you grew up eating. And that is a really difficult thing to do, but you might do it because, you're feeling low anyways. So you might as well experiment with this and that. And my goodness. And this is how we fall into some mistakes, that we are very difficult to come out.
Just this once.
Just
this once.
You obstruct yourself more and more and more. And then before you know it, you're feeling not very good.
We all have to choose a level of obstructiveness we want to live at. And, no two people will be alike. Everybody's going to be at different levels of that. And it's all okay. It's whatever you want to experience in this.
So I would say the most important question, and many people avoid that question. They avoid it. I don't know why. How do you see yourself living in the future? I mean, before I used to say 5 years or 10 years from now. I don't know, anytime in the future. How do you see it? How do you see the ideal lifestyle for you, regardless of the timing? Because you can do anything. You can do a long master fast. It's easy. You can do a short master fast. You can do anything. It's not that a matter of, can you do it or can you? Everybody can. If I can do it, anyone can. I mean, I'm not better than anyone. But the question is, what does each and every one of us want to do? How do we see ourselves living the lifestyle? any lifestyle. How do we see ourselves living? Wow, why are you in the master fast? Why, these are important questions. Why, what is it that you want? You know?
Mhm.
I ask myself this question all the time, and I change my plans all the time as well. And it's okay, because sometimes, um, I want different things, and it's okay. It's okay to change my mind.
That's the thing. Oh, sorry, I interrupted. That's the thing. What kind of crosses my mind, and I think it will come just with experience. But it's like I want to fast, but I also want to eat, but not necessarily obstructive foods. But I'm still like, well, I'll just have to leave eating behind, or I can, still have some things that I enjoy and combine this, lifestyle with non-eating and eating. But I
Yeah.
guess I can.
Of course. Most people are not going to stop eating. So if you want to live a fasting lifestyle, you have to find your balance with those two.
Mm. Because what scares me if like you get your GI tract cleanse and that there is no mucus anymore, and you eat some obstructive food here and there, and you get all of this tired, and like this is what happened to me after water fast. I tried to push the old foods that I used to eat, and it just didn't work. I was like, I could not process that anymore. And I was like, yeah, I can't. Something happened to me. I can't live the old way I used to live. This is why I came to Master Fast.
It's really interesting. I think everyone, this is, if you want to meditate on something, I would say meditate on what is it that you want, like what's your goal. Yeah, it's a journey, and the journey is the goal, but what journey is it you're choosing? It's okay, you can choose anything you want. You have to be happy with it. Nobody else has, nobody, it's out of anyone else's business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ask myself that question all the time, and I spend hours sometimes thinking about it the past 6 years. Before starting a fast, sometimes I just sit down and think, do I want to eat? Do I want to fast? Do I want to eat and fast? Yeah. And I think it's worth it. All this time that I spent thinking about it was important before doing it. Did it always work? No, and it's okay. You may change your goals with time. I don't know. And yeah, it's interesting. That's all I can say.
How's the popsicle?
Who made a popsicle?
The grape popsicle, grape juice.
Oh, I didn't make it. Somebody else made it. No, but I thought it was brilliant idea.
Somebody else, I thought it was you, sorry. Yeah,
No.
people have posted that before.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea. I thought it's really cool. Yeah. So the little thing that kind of crossed my mind, and I don't know if you have any insight or understanding on that. It's about grape juice. This is the one part I have problem with, still kind of going deeper.
Not about the juice.
I know, but when I think about, is it natural to drink like 2-3 liters of juice? I was like thinking the sages that were fasting, in ancient times, they didn't have grape juice. Is it like for modern obstructed humans so we can really wash things out? So it's kind of a protocol that we do. It's like, right?
Exactly. It's not natural.
Okay.
It's not natural to eat. It's not natural to drink.
Okay, eating is a little bit more natural than drinking a juice.
Not in my understanding.
I love how you balance each other, guys. It's like, oh yeah, that's so amazing. Gino says something and Ron is like, No, I think, and it kind of, she brings you back, from the fields to the matter.
I'm just looking at, we all came from the fields and the limitless realms. There's no eating. There's no eating. There's no physical eating. We don't even have physical body. This physical body is we've been duped to come to believe certain things because we're focusing on the freaking physicality. And that's where all the problems started, when man started focusing on the materialism of things. What did Hans say? Was it 2,000 years ago? When, who was it? I can't remember now. It's a long time. That's when man's downfall started, when we started focusing on matter and physical things. That's the downfall of humanity, and why we're at the state we're at right now, in the sickest state humanity has ever been. The Earth, planet Earth as well. Look what we've done to the Earth. It's horrific. What happens when you leave the Earth alone? It heals itself. You don't have to do anything. It heals itself. It goes back to reset, because that's the way it's programmed, to reset back to balance by doing nothing. It does it automatically. And we're no different. We all have that program to be able to go back to reset, to the perfect blueprint, I like to call it. Because all that universal knowledge is within each and every one of us. There's nothing in creation that does not have that knowledge. Even a rock has that knowledge.
I I just came to my mind, Suzanne Redita, one of the very few people who we met, I think 6 years ago on Masterfast, Facebook. We don't see her so much anymore here, but she is one of the very few people, like we haven't met anybody like her actually. When she was, I think 16 years old, she started Arnold Earth. And she started with some cooked and raw, like cooked root vegetables and stuff and raw. And then when she became 18, I think she started a fruitarian diet. And when we met her on Facebook, she was in her 40s or 50s. So she has gone, for decades without.
She was in her 60s. She was living on mono fruit eating, only eating one fruit per season and fasting.
Like one type of fruit.
One type of fruit per season.
One type of fruit.
And fasting,
from her
I think it was 20 days a month on coconut water.
So every month.
Every month.
No menstruation, all breastfed, all perfectly healthy.
So how many days? Hold on. She ate 10 days a month?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah. 10 days a month she ate. And then the rest of the month she fasted on coconut water. When she came to Master Fast, she learned about dry fasting from Gino. Before that, she never heard of it, I think, or she never did it before. And she was amazed. She did like 5-day dry, and she was amazed by the results. But yeah, it's so maybe something like that can be if somebody wants to go liquidarian, fruitarian, but like you see how she eats very different from the standard way.
Very low obstruction.
Very different from the standard way, and it's just simply, I would say, for the experience, not because of hunger, and she said, when I think mangoes, for example, like from her tree, she said when the mango falls on the ground, to me it's like a gift from the universe. I take it and I eat it, and she eats just one meal a day. She eats of mono fruit and one fruit type of fruit a season, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, that's how I think, if you want to go liquidarian with Master Fast, I would say that would be kind of how I see things, going. Something from your backyard, or from, around you, not too far, and fruits that is also obstructive, and once in a while, and lots of, mainly liquid days, and maybe also, if you can do also lots of dry days. I think it's key, to learn how to eat one meal a day. It's key for us on MasterClass, because once we do more than that, we start craving, especially when the GI tract is so cleaned with lots of master fasting. The body cannot handle so many meals a day. I think one meal a day is, it's important for us to focus on that.
Yeah, when you start master fasting, it's a big wake up call of what food really does to the physical body, because all your senses are awakened and alive the way they're supposed to be. People say, "Oh, you're too sensitive after your fast." That's what they're there for.
Right.
They're not- they were always in a dormant state, so you didn't feel anything, and that's what
Yeah.
most people are walking zombies, right? They don't feel anything.
And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid when you start feeling.
Yeah, this is what Sadhguru, I remember I was listening to his talk, and one time he said, all of you are numb and you don't feel life. He eats only one meal a day. And I was like, wow, that's like how he can live. And he goes, look at this body, how strong it is, one meal a day. And I feel life, but all of like our current humanity, they don't.
Going
No.
back to Susan, I just remembered she mentioned to me that her teacher who taught her and guided her, the Arnold Ehret's work, she said this guy was super strong, super fit. He hardly ever ate, and he drank cooked New Zealand grape juice.
Oh,
She's-
surprise, surprise, huh?
she goes, it's all making sense now. It's the plasma. And I don't need to eat anymore. I can just live on air. I haven't heard from her for a few years. She was awesome. She was amazing soul.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very inspiring. Amazing. I mean, hard to meet someone like that. Rare. So what's your plan? What are you planning for?
Well, I am on those deeper questions. I'm also meditating and really asking myself as well, why do I want to do this lifestyle? And I think I don't yet fully have the answers. They will come throughout the process. But the herbs are going to arrive soon, and I am starting with level 3. I have incorporated already hybrid protocol as best as I can, grape juice, which are still kind of, I'm trying to process this whole grape juice thing. I'm not drinking water anymore, just maybe a glass here and there whenever I really, really feel like it, like where something arises in me, drink water, a glass of water, so I drink it. I take plasma pudding. I have kidney tea that I prepared myself. And then I think throughout the process, the answers will come. But what I have seen so far, and even talking with Gino and listening to you guys weekly, when I had a personal session with Gino and listening to and after that 7-day water fast and all the spiritual work I've done, there's something unfolding within me, and I don't yet cannot pinpoint it. But I think Buteyko and fasting and all the spiritual healing modalities that I do and offer for the world, and I've done it on myself, there's something within me that's unfolding so much deeper and so much profound. And fasting, I think it's not, I don't want to say it's another modality I want to add to my toolbox, because it's not a modality. It's like a Buteyko method. It's a lifestyle. It's about living the lifestyle of less is more. And all the things I've been programmed about food and all the drinks, and it's all shattering. day by day, I'm just learning more and more about myself and my purpose and humanity itself. So there is also a physical matter. I want to heal some physical issues that I've been going through, but there is a huge spiritual side that's unfolding through this work that I do. And when I asked, and I just want to, and I really meditated on this. And when I ask this question deeper, I say, why do I do these things? And so far, the deepest answer that arises within me is I want to be in service to others. And I want to help others on their healing journeys. And I want to have more energy myself, to be healthier, and to really be in service. I don't know, the deepest purpose for me, it's just being in service and leaving this planet better place, at least a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, all the answers will come up for you because I don't have your answers and nobody else does either, right? You will find them all through living a spiritual lifestyle, through fasting lifestyle. You'll get them all. One by one, you'll find all these things that you need to know will come to you exactly at the moment that you need them. So we have to try and learn to let go of the monkey mind, because that gets us in trouble all the time. That intellect, the ego, or whatever we want to call it, I call it the Luciferic intellect. It believes it knows and can solve everything. Time to let it go and bring forth our consciousness, focus on the fields as much as we possibly can. Peace, balance, correct conduct, and keep focusing on that and watch what happens. Let me just go here. Paula, our fellow travelers on this beautiful earth, the animals, yes, the animal kingdom, when they first come from the fields, do they learn to drink water from those who came before and learn to drink somehow? Well, my understanding of the whole animal kingdom, I mentioned this before, is it's a reflection of man's emotion. We see our emotions throughout all the animal kingdom. That's why we see animals eating each other and killing each other, is because that's what we as humanity have been doing for a long time. So that's what gets manifested into the animal kingdom, so we can see it in plain sight of what man's emotions are and what we need to work on to resolve and move in the direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. I don't focus on the physicality of what they're drinking and eating. We can, if we want to look at diets, right? If we say that humans are closest to the primates, and primates eat, most of them eat mostly fruit, right? Not all of them, most of them eat mostly fruit. And, the ones who eat the most fruit, they found, are the ones that have the most intelligence, least obstructive diets. So you can do all that research that we've done for many years. But why focus on the physicality when we can focus on the spiritual aspect of things? And as it says and has been written, one day the lamb will lay with the lion. And that's the day when humanity stops killing, raping, and eating each other. That's the day that we will see the lamb lying with the sheep, or the lamb lying with the lion. And there won't be any necessity for the animals to eat physical foods either. They will be living on the fields as well, because we all come from the same creator. It's that simple to me. That's my understanding. So If we want to focus on the physicality of things, and yes, some animals drink water, but there's also other animals who don't drink water. And we've posted many, many examples over the years in the Facebook group of, animals that didn't eat for many years, and spiders didn't eat and drink for many years. We've posted many examples. There's some kind of, I can't remember what the name of that animal was in Africa. It looks something like a deer or something that didn't drink. We posted many examples over the years of things coming up. The information is available and it's out there. I just want to tend to put my focus and attention on the fields more so as much as I possibly can. Like I said, we catch myself going back to the programs that have been running, since our birth. It's very, very challenging to not have that program come up every once in a while. You have to be in the forefront consciously to catch yourself and brush it off and focus on the fields. That's what I try and do.
Yeah,
all the
make
time.
peace with what comes up.
Yeah, the all the stuff we went through and learned, it was all for a purpose, and that's why we are where we are now.
It's worth it to sit down with it and clear things up. It may feel like a waste of time, but I believe it's important when things come up for us to sit down and kind of reflect.
But sometimes I meditate on the spiritual and physical realms. And of course, we came from the spirit, and the first and foremost is the spirit. But I believe, my belief system, that we come into this physicality to awaken to our spirituality and live the spiritual life in this physicality. So in a way, I see that spirit is important, but also this material world, that we can enjoy the journey, the short journey of that we came into this body is, I kind of like, sometimes I see people neglecting this physicality and just like, oh, I'm spirit, I came from spirit, and this all human life, the money, the house, the clothes, the food, blah, I don't need all of that. I just want to go. But I mean, there is a purpose. We came down to this, I believe, that's my belief system. That we came down to experience it and also have this joy of physicality, of feeling.
Yeah, feeling, tasting, touching, smelling. We came here to experience all that, and yeah, we can do that.
I think finding a balance is a key. I don't know. What do you think, Gino?
Yeah, that's the key. And like I said, everybody's going to have a different way of balancing out their lifestyle, because no two people will be alike. I found through fasting you enjoy food even more, especially when you do a lot of fasting. So, how many more meals do we need to,
Need to be satisfied.
yeah, need to eat to be satisfied. It's never going to happen. It's so,
Never know.
let's find that balance between fasting and eating. And when we, like what we say is, when we choose to eat, let's enjoy it. We love eating, but we love fasting way more. That's the way I want to tend to put myself, my consciousness at. Everybody may have a different view, but that's the way I look at it. I love fasting. That's why I've been fasting all these years, and nobody's going to take that away from me. And there'll be times where we fast way more than other times. Year to year, it changes.
I mean,
things change.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful experience to have, like, let's say a peach tree, of ripe peaches. They smell amazing, and it's like right next
Any
to you,
fruit off
right
a
next to
tree.
you. It's not far away from you. You don't need to go to a grocery store to buy it. would you eat it or would you not eat it? You know, like, yeah, you love fasting, but maybe you love to experience the taste. It's like, it's like it's another matter thing. Yeah, food is matter. You can also say that what is it? Hmm, like, you have food, and then you have I think like different stimulants, right? Like the sexuality, I guess, reproduction is another material, especially for men, right? It's another component that distracts them a little bit, but it's not that bad, really. I mean, is it? Like, I don't know. Some people say, okay, no more relationships, or like sexual relationships, for example, right? What do you call it? Right?
Celibacy.
Celibacy, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what's extreme and what's not extreme, and what's acceptable and what's not. It's interesting. I think we have to find a balance. I think, like you said, balance is key. We don't need to say, okay, no more sexual activity for me. I don't know. Do we want to go that route? Do we have to go to that route? Yeah, we know it's a material thing, and it might distract you a little bit. But does it really have to distract you? Like, I don't know.
I think balance is the key. It's really like in the movie Matrix, where they were like, you want a blue pill or red pill, I believe that you awaken as a spiritual being and you enjoy this physical journey, but you find what's balance for you, but through spirit, really knowing like, okay, this is the fields, as Gino says, where I come from, but can I allow myself to enjoy certain things with awareness and not, like some people are, they glutton, there's a gluttony, or they have sex addictions or drug addictions, or like there's no awareness, they're sleeping, they're asleep, they're in a dream. But in a way where or people say, oh, spiritual teaching should not be charged. But how the spiritual teaching could come through if there were no physicality? If I didn't have a computer, if I didn't have a home, I didn't have internet, how could I see you? How could I get your spiritual teaching if I do not pay for these things? So I think the balance for me is a key where, I acknowledge there's this material thing and I can enjoy it. And then I know that I'm spirit and where it came from.
Yeah, I think grounding is super important, and that's where, for me, I like to turn to a strong spiritual foundation. For me, a religion. Religion has a bad whatever name attached to it.
Bad rap.
Oh yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know. The brainwashing on the media, the mainstream media, is nonsense. I find people who have a strong spiritual foundation, and I saw that in people who are religious in different religions, dedicated to what they're doing. I find that very important to help you be grounded, stay grounded, to help you stay on the right path. Yeah. When you're off track, you go back quickly to the truth, because you're practicing regularly, and it's not challenging for you to see the truth because you're continuously practicing. There's something special about people who practice regularly.
I think there's like what I experienced in my journey, that as a humans, we most probably come to this physical journey to awaken that we are spirit in matter, that we are creator in matter. And I guess a lot of humanity is still asleep, and now more and more people are just awakening and popping up, and oh, oh, I just woke up. Oh my God, I am spirit and matter. I'm a creator of my reality. I'm creator of everything that's happening. And for my experience and my journeys, I believe that this is a journey of each soul to awaken to that understanding, and most probably carry on to other experiences, or just merge with the source. Yeah. But spirituality is a foundation. It's not about religion. I think all the religions have the same essence in its origin. Is it an Islam or Buddhism or Christianity? But when they made this a business, or like, where church and what they've done, this is why the religion got the bad rap. But in a way, the essence of it is still a spirit, and they all speak about one and the same thing, just different languages, different whatever, and then we kill each other for this. Oh, you believe in Allah and I believe in Jesus, so I'll kill you for that. Almost like
only
this.
one, the way we see it as one God, like you can different language, different word for it, but it's one God,
It's a big topic. I mean, they say if you don't want to get arguments with people, don't talk about religion or politics. So,
yeah, this is all, honestly, it's like in my opinion, this has been a big brainwashing. People writing wrong information, whatever, and basically, mainstream media, whatever, whoever has the power is writing the information for us, and people are being brainwashed, really.
yeah, if the TV told people to get vaccinated, that must be true, because the TV is one big God that tells everybody what to do. And we know who first started the first television, like there was a very kind and smart person who started the first TV. The like the TV were there, but the television show, like the news, it was Adolf Hitler. He was a very nice, kind person, right? We all know that. And he was the one who started that, So, I mean, then when we know the history, we know what they are doing there.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, man, what's happening.
Yeah.
Today we can see it more than ever. It's so clear.
Yeah. So one big box, you look at it and there's God. It tells you everything what to do. You turn it on, you look at it like this, and
yeah.
And then you tell others what to do.
We saw it so clearly with the health. With health, we saw so clearly how especially with Master Fast, we can see it so clearly, the truth about health.
I took so much time of yours, guys, so I think it's very late in Toronto already, right?
It's almost 11.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for your information and what you do. I was showering this morning. I did my enema and I was showering. I was like, I love Gino and Rana. I'm just sending them love. I feel so good. I was thinking about you guys, and I'm studying this Master Fast, so you're kind of always on my mind now.
One
So
day,
really, thank you.
that's all we can do, is just allow the process to unfold, embrace it, jump for joy when we go through healing reactions, and use the tools to pull us through. That's it. We're just trusting in the process. We don't need to know who, what, where, when, why, how. It doesn't help us in any way, shape, or form. And that's where most of us focus on. I did the same thing for so many years. Gotta know exactly. Didn't help me at all. Only got me in trouble.
I went to the health food store. I found that I was like, I need the castor oil, I need the flannel, and also I need the slung tea because Gino, the guy I'm doing master fast with, I need to, if I get into the healing crisis, I need something to breathe in. So I was like, I did all the homework you were like told me. I'm all set up.
Be prepared and start using the tools, and so you learn about them, and all is well. It's it's not going to be fun and games all the time, but the challenging times have always made people come out stronger after. Always. Unless they chose to do some crazy whacked out thing with no prudence. And then nobody can help you do it, in those situations. Running to ER and all that stuff. If that's where you're at, that's where you're at. But when you're choosing to take charge of your own health, you don't need that kind of stuff. It's there and available for those who need it, but we have a different understanding. Like those places, if you get in a car accident or whatever, okay, go to emergency, get taken care of, and get the hell out of there as quick as you can so you can go home and heal. Because you don't heal in those places. Everything that's done in those places is a very bombardment attack on the physical body, mental and emotional. And even though they're trying to help, but we're in a state now of humanity. There's things that are not natural, driving in cars at so many speeds and getting these accidents. This doesn't really happen in nature and for humanity. Maybe if you're in the wild and an animal runs into you at a high speed, then you can simulate something like that. But it's still not the same as being inside of a metal thing, getting crushed in there. So we got lots to learn, and enjoy the ride.
Thank you so much, guys. I have other questions, but I'll bring them to another. Or maybe I'm gonna get answers until Wednesday, so then I'll not have questions.
Sounds good.
Keep writing your questions down. You're going to see that you'll be able to find the answers to all of them yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I've pointed out a lot of things that you've already experienced. It's common sense, simple.
Mm-hmm.
Use your critical thinking, which we all have, and pay attention to what's happening, and you'll get your answers. That's really all I did over the years. And once you do certain things a few times and you see, wow, yeah, okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And it becomes available to you, the answer, and it's revealed.
We should do a fasting and breathwork retreat here in Victoria by the ocean. Then you could come, guys, visit, and we could all have figs together after we break the fast. Huh?
Yeah, these doing these kind of things, events, yeah, they're all wonderful, and you can gain an experience. But what are you going to do when you go home?
Like I did, I went for water fasting in the clinic where I have no idea what happened to me. I had no idea what the fasting meant. And then I came back and I was like, oh my God, I need to now figure out how to do it regularly. And then the master fast came. So people figure after what to do. If they're really connected and it's meant for them, they do. So
yeah, far and few from my experience. Hopefully we as humanity start changing and embracing more and more of spiritual life, because spiritual life includes fasting life.
Yeah.
We love you more.
It's lots of fun, living this lifestyle. It's entertaining with people's reactions and stuff. But best thing to be in a silence when you're fasting. We're in a group and we all live in this lifestyle and stuff. So it's great to share so we can inspire each other. Because it's a big, big, big challenge for many, many people to live a fasting lifestyle in a environment where eating is, the thing to do.
Mhm.
That's all most people focus on, eating.
Yeah. I can see that in my partner a little bit now. I'm so sensitive that I can feel his emotions, and I can see when he is like a bit like a big wave comes. I can see him coming in the kitchen, making something to drink or something to snack on. And I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm just going to experience that myself, you know.
Yeah, be aware, and you will see.
Yeah.
You watch people in general, wherever, and they go to food for no reason at all. It's all emotional.
That's what I'm starting through this masterclass journey to learn, like the emotions, like they sometimes come up so strong. And I was like, wow, I would eat something now. But I'm like, can I stay with this emotion? Can I just experience? Because I do emotional healing with my clients and I tell them, well, experience it. So I'm like, can I experience myself, no matter how strong it is? Can I you know, just be with it until it dissipates instead of going and putting something in my mouth and it's yeah. So it's as well a journey, like when Eugenio told me that it's about emotional, really learning about your emotions, and that is a seed of everything. So that is a big topic that I'm exploring as well alongside the grape juice.
It's my understanding. It all comes through the intent and emotion, everything.
Mm,
Yeah, makes sense for me.
yeah.
Emotion, the intent and then the emotion allows it to be manifested. It's very powerful.
E for energy.
Energy in motion.
It's you can look at many examples of how powerful emotion is. Many, many infinite examples. So I don't know, we'll do a little meditation.
Sure.
Let's get comfortable in our chairs or lying down or whatever. And close our eyes, put feet on the floor. If you're sitting, relax your hands and focus on the breath. Let's cycle the breath, We don't need to take deep breaths, but you can if you like. Just small, regular breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. And cycle it from the bottom of the spine on the inhale, going up to the top of the head, and the exhale coming down the front of the body, around the groin, back to the tailbone. Inhale up, exhale down the front. Inhale up, exhale down the front. Inhale up, exhale down the front. Inhale up. Exhale on front. Let's bring our attention down to the area below the belly button. And just focus on the breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Let's move the attention to genital area. Females is the ovaries, males is the testicles. In through the nose, out through the nose. Every breath we go deeper and deeper. Releasing all obstructions and all levels. Let's move our focus to the perineum between the genitals and anus. Let's move our attention to the tailbone. Go up the spine a bit to the kidney area, between the kidneys. And all our focus on there with our breath. Let's go up the spine a bit more to the area between the shoulder blades. Stay focused on the breath. Moving up the spine to the atlas spine, where the spine meets the skull. Let's move to the top of the head, center of the skull. Bring the focus to third eye, center of the forehead. Bring the focus to throat area. Bring the focus to the heart. Mover focus 2. Solar plexus. Body nerves, the gut feeling. And focus down to the genitals. And cycle the breath from the bottom of the spine. And inhale going up. Exhale going down. 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 And let's elevate all beautiful souls all over the planet, Mother Earth. And thank you so much. For joining. We had a blast. See you again. All is freaking amazing. Ciao, ciao for now. It's nice to dwell in the limitless realms. Good night.